Next on our list is Cipla, which is a name people will be familiar with here in South Africa because it had a business, or has a business, which was previously listed for a while. Inaleni became Cipla, then it got bought by the Indians. It's a multinational pharmaceutical and biotech company. It has quite a strong focus on HIV Aids drugs, and it also is a big manufacturer of the active pharmaceutical ingredients that get sold to other pharma companies around the world to make their stuff. As you can imagine, it's like a Lego kit. $7 billion worth of market cap. That's if you convert the Indian rupees into US dollars at the prevailing rate. It's mostly listed on the NSE in India. Price to earnings ratio 45, dividend yield 0.4. A nice company with a long and proud history.
Yes, and you mentioned they do a lot of API manufacturing, so that is where a lot of generic companies started. The actual juice of the actual drug that does the work is the API, the active pharmaceutical ingredient. And as we've seen with outsourcing all over the world, they offshore to cheaper manufacturing countries, like happened in India. And later on, the Indians said, well, if we've got the actual API, why don't we create the generic of that? And even sometimes, if you go back to HIV drugs in the year 2000, 2001, while there were patents for a lot of these drugs, Cipla said, well, we're going to actually slash the prices by 90%. Don't worry about the patents. We're going to give this to the rest of the world.
India? Are they pretty fast and loose with patents?
Well, for
the Indian market,
for about 30 years, they actually just ignored the worldwide patent laws, and roughly around 2000, they brought it back to them and say, okay, sorry guys, we'll play according to the rules. But in that time, they created a lot of generic companies. You can think of Dr. Reddy and a few others as well.
So then what would happen is the HIV AIDS drugs inventors like Gilead and so on would then say, okay, listen, just whatever, you know, you can have that stuff. We'll work on the sort of more high-tech, multi-dose, single things and what have you, and then you can get active in that space. But that's very helpful because I know, was it not the case that the local players like Cipla, MedPro, and even Aspen were buying these APIs from inter alia Cipla?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Share price, though, of Cipla doesn't look too tremendous. I mean, the current price of 561 rupees or thereabouts was quite well lower than the 740 that prevailed in August 2015. So what's going on there? Are you feeling like the company is suffering from the same headaches that you referred to earlier?
Well, I just think it's been expensive for a while, so the value needs to catch up to the price. The South African operations are roughly 15% of the revenue and earnings. The US is roughly 20%. The biggest chunk is emerging markets, and then India is a separate area as well. So a lot more diversified in terms of their geographic exposure, a lot less exposure to the pricing issues we have in the US. And as you mentioned in the introduction, they are looking into biotech as well. So that's the latest thing where instead of having a protein or some molecule that's static, you have an alive ingredient, a biological ingredient in terms of your drugs, which is much more difficult to copy. So you can't really patent a biotech drug, but once you have it, no one else can copy it. So they are moving along those lines. Great track record, a family business with the same family in charge of this company for more than 100 years. So I actually like it. Yes, the share price has been stagnant, but the company is doing well.
So you're going to go hot on that one?
I'm going to go hot.
Okay, I'm going to pass for reasons related to the internationalization and the availability of the stock. Let's